a master manipulator, the king of drama, an expert at making you feel guilty. First, it's a fairy tale. Then come the silent treatments and the emotional roller coaster. And in the end, you're left feeling like everything is your fault. Sound familiar? Yep, that's him. That little emotional parasite called a narcissist. He plays your emotions like an instrument and always ends up the victim. And you start to believe that maybe you're the problem. Hi, this is Maya, outside the drama. Today, a topic that can turn your life into a real roller coaster. One day, you feel like you're living in a fairy tale, and the next, you feel like you're losing your mind. Seriously. And today, we're talking about narcissists. A narcissist is someone who pulls you into their own theater, gives you the role of an extra, and still expects you to applaud. And it's not just about relationships, because a narcissist can be anywhere, in your home, at work, on Messenger, and sometimes, unfortunately, in your own head, because they've managed to convince you that everything is your fault. Ever feel like that? You meet someone who seems special at first, but then it turns out you really shouldn't judge a book by its cover. If this sounds familiar, this episode is for you. Why even talk about this? Because a lot of people write to me, Maya, I don't know if I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm just too sensitive. And let me tell you right away, if you constantly feel guilty, if your emotions are being mocked and your needs are ignored, no, you're not overreacting. It means something in this relationship is broken. You don't need Google to check if it's a narcissist, a sociopath, or an alien from Mars. It's enough that you feel bad with someone. That's already a warning sign. But who is this narcissist? Exactly. Because when you tell someone my boss is a narcissist, there's always a smart ass who asks, do you have a diagnosis for that? And here comes Maya, all in white. You don't need a diagnosis to say stop. A narcissist is someone who always needs to be the center of attention, criticizes others but can't take any criticism themselves, manipulates, blackmails, twists the facts, and plays on your guilt like an instrument. And your needs are always, less important. And the best part, a narcissist never has a problem. The world is bad, you're ungrateful, people are stupid, he's always the eternal victim. Classic line. It's because of you that I'm so nervous. Sound familiar, right? How does it start? A narcissist doesn't barge in right away and shout, listen, I'm going to manipulate you. At first, it's a fairy tale. You feel like you're the only one, special, the most important. You get all the attention in the world. And it works. You feel like you're at the center of the universe, like someone finally really appreciates you. A narcissist can be charming, attentive, almost perfect. You hear compliments, get messages, everything revolves around you. This is the stage when you think, wow, maybe this is it. But then the little jabs start. Criticism disguised as jokes, comparisons, silent treatment, punishment with coldness. You start to wonder if you did something wrong. The first signs appear that something is off, but you explain it to yourself. Maybe he had a bad day. Maybe I'm overreacting. And suddenly, you wake up in a reality where everything is your fault, and this person is always innocent and the victim. Come on. How many times have I seen this? And every time, it looks the same. A real-life example, I once had a friend. At first, it was a fairy tale. He was charming, caring, almost a knight. And then, he started isolating her from her friends, mocked her passions, criticized her appearance, controlled her every move. And when she tried to leave, she heard, no one will love you like I do. You're too weak to make it on your own. You'll regret it. Classic lines. Collector's edition narcissist. And you know what? She finally left. Not because he changed. Spoiler, he didn't change. Only because she stopped waiting for a miracle. And as I mentioned, a narcissist isn't always a partner. And here's an important thing. A narcissist isn't just a boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband. It can be a boss, a colleague, or sometimes even a parent. Do you know this feeling? You constantly have to prove you're a good daughter, a loyal employee, the best friend. And if you say no just once, you get the silent treatment, emotional blackmail, or a whole litany of how ungrateful you are. All right, so what do you do? How do you deal with it? First, boundaries. You have the right to say no. You have the right not to answer the phone at 11 o'clock p.m. because someone has drama. You have the right not to explain every decision. Second, don't expect gratitude. A narcissist doesn't know the word thank you. You can try, dance the can-can, cook a 3-course dinner, and it will still be not enough. Third, don't let yourself be guilt-tripped. A narcissist is a master at making you feel guilty, even when it's their fault. And no, you don't have to take responsibility for their emotions. Fourth, don't try to fix them. That's not your mission. Seriously, you're not an auto repair shop to do a soul overhaul for them. You're not a full-time therapist who's obligated to heal someone's traumas either. Your job is to take care of yourself, not to sacrifice yourself for someone who doesn't even see a problem. Fifth, build your life outside of them. Find your passions. Find people who don't drain you like an emotional vampire. The more resources you have, the harder it is to break you. Don't let all your energy revolve around one person. Nurture your friendships. Develop your interests. Do things that bring you joy and give you a sense of purpose. That's your shield against manipulation and becoming dependent on someone else's mood. Sixth, seek support. If you feel like you can't cope, go to a therapist, a support group, or at least to a friend who will tell you straight, hey, you're not the crazy one. You don't have to handle everything alone. Sometimes one honest conversation is enough to see the situation from a different perspective. Surround yourself with people who understand you and don't dismiss your feelings. Remember, asking for help is not a weakness, it's a sign of strength. True strength is being able to see the problem and having the courage to admit to yourself that you can't carry everything alone. Each of us sometimes needs another person to help us get up and see that we're not alone. And now, a classic narcissist example. Him. If you really loved me, you would. You. Stop. This isn't a conversation about love. It's an attempt at manipulation. Him. It's all your fault. You. Oh, sure. And global warming too? A bit of irony never hurt anyone. But seriously, call things by their name. That takes away the narcissist's power. The most important thing you need to know: you won't change a narcissist with your love, patience, or sacrifice. He won't change, even if you believe in a miracle. Trust me. But you can change. You can choose yourself. You can set a boundary and say, enough. You don't have to wait for permission, for a better moment, for someone's approval. You have the right to leave. You have the right to take care of yourself. You have the right to be happy. And you don't have to explain yourself, okay? Share in the comments, have you ever dealt with a narcissist? What was your turning point? Or write in the comments your golden line from a narcissist. Let's create a catalog of manipulations together. Because sometimes when you hear it from someone else, it's easier to see that the problem isn't you. And if you want more conversations like this, you know what to do. Subscribe, click, write what you want me to talk about next time. This was Outside the Drama. I'm Maya. Remember, you have the right to be happy and free from other people's drama. Thank you for being with me. And until next time,